What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to Therapeutic Edge. Today we're going to look at a really big, a really big knife. This is the Cold Steel Voyager Tanto Extra Large. And man, they aren't kidding. This is a beast of a knife. Now, I've only had this one for about 6 or 8 months. I've actually had the Voyager Vaquero here for about 10 years. This is the original version. This is in, I think, AUS 8, although it's not on the blade. It has a funky blade shape and design. This is also a really big knife. Now, I've told you guys a lot that I like big knives. This is sort of where that came from, but to be 100% honest, these are absurd. But that's kind of why I like them. Let's put this one over here. Oh, it almost doesn't fit. Look at that. All right, so, well, what do you get? Well, this one is in CTS BD1 steel. It is made in Taiwan. It is just a really interesting knife in how large it is. How big is it? Well, let's take a look, shall we? The blade is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 inches of cutting. It is 6 inches long of CTS BD1. The overall knife is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 inches long. Yeah, it's big. This is a pocket sword. The Tanto is particularly well done by Cold Steel. It is hollow ground, and so even for this massive tank of a knife, it's relatively slicey. It does a really good job. The Tanto tip is really robust and a little thicker behind the edge. It has, believe it or not, a little swell of belly. It really does look a lot like the traditional samurai sword in that it has a little, it's not quite a flat edge along the secondary bevel. It's surprisingly comfortable in hand. They designed it very well. You can hold it this way. You can move down the handle for a really long swing. You can hold it this way for gas station fights, which Cold Steel are known for. You can hold it up further on the handle. You can swing this thing like a small hatchet. It is the triad lock, which is really, really strong. This knife, closed, believe it or not, is not that big in the pocket. If we put it down and take a look, we will discover that it is it's actually a little less than 2 inches from the top of the blade to the back of the handle, which really is not that much of it's not that big this way. But closed, we are still looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 inches in length. You got to have big pockets to carry one of these. They do have pocket clips. They are designed to be pocketable. It's about as far from deep carry as one can get, and it's very hard to get things up in there. But as you can see, that's how much knife sticks out of your pocket. So people are going to know it's there, including some blade, which is really kind of strange. Cold Steel large knives like this are known for a lot of things. Good pocket clips are not one of them. As you can see, my other Vaquero, which is many, many years older, I've actually bent the clip a little bit getting it in and out of my pocket because these are very tight. But the clips have not changed at all in many years of production. This is, okay, so I got this when I was out camping and shooting a lot with my friends. I bought this because it was absurd. A buddy of mine has a couple of really big Cold Steels, and I wanted to get on board. And this is the one I could afford at the time. It's lived in my camping gear. It has seen a ton of use. The blade steel, no matter what kind of steel it is, has really actually served me very well on this Vaquero. I will say one thing. This high flat grind means that this thing comes down to a very, very thin edge. And the tip on the Vaquero, let's see if that'll focus. Yeah, is really skinny. This is a very stabby short sword. It was, in fact, my go-to camping carry for a very long time, even with this funny recurve, because it was so useful. Everything you could do all of your chopping up here at the belly. You could do hard cutting back here, and as you can see, there's a little wear back here because I've used it quite a bit. It was very stabby. It was just a super fun and interesting knife. However, I think that the Tanto is, well, I like it better. I do. I love this, but it doesn't really get carried anymore. And well, okay, neither of these really get carried anymore. But the Tanto is, I don't know. I just love how thick that blade is for the length of the blade. I love how robust it is. I love the hollow grind, which makes it slicey. Is this absurd? Well, yeah. That's kind of the point. Cold Steel makes extra larges like this. They make larges. They even make mediums, which are fairly normal-sized pocket knives. The handles are FRN. They are incredibly durable. They have a lot of texturing on them. They're very grippy. Look, and these aren't that expensive. If you want something ridiculous but fun and also oddly useful, the Vaquero series from Cold Steel is just a really, really good way to go. I don't recommend these for EDC because if you take this out of your pocket at the office and open up a package, they will call the police on you. Yeah, this is an intimidating knife. Let's do a size comparison because why wouldn't we? There it is against the Rat Model 2, Rat Model 1. Here is the Rat Model 2. And as you can see, yeah, it's just bigger. These are just ridiculous, and I love them for it. If you're a knife collector, now look, there are people that buy knives because they use knives all the time. And I do, I carry one every day. But there are people that buy knives for their useful purposes. And if that's the case, these may not be the knives for you. But if you buy knives because you think they are interesting, then these are absolutely the knives for you. They make a drop point version of this too, I think. I'd love to get one of those. I don't have any reason to recommend these beyond the fact that they are just sort of badass and fun to own. But maybe that's enough. They're an absurdist outside edge to my collection. And that makes me really happy. If they weren't made so well, I wouldn't recommend them at all. But oddly enough, they are designed for use even in their absurd size. And that makes them worth having in the collection. Now, the new ones are AUS 10A, which is their new steel that they're using. It's a good steel. It really is. But even if you get one of the oldest ones in old AUS 8 from the secondary market, you will not be disappointed. They really do. I'm not sure what Cold Steel does to their steel. I understand that they are very good at what they do when it comes to it. They get the most out of it. Particularly the CTS BD1 knives like this one. They went through a period of time where they used a lot of that. This is awesome steel, done really well by a company that knows what they're doing. So, if you are looking for a pocket sword, a statement piece, and something that is just fun because of how absurd it is, the Cold Steel Vaquero here and the Cold Steel Tanto Voyagers will not let you down. I love these things. I'm really... other knives come and go. I buy knives. I sell knives. I'll never sell the Vaquero here because I have had that... Well, actually, I think it's closer to... Well, it's got to be 12 years now. At least 10 or 12 years. I'm not going to sell this one either because it has proven itself to be oddly useful. I suppose if I ever need to get in a fight with a bear or a ninja, I will want this one instead. Sometimes knives aren't just because they are useful. Sometimes they aren't because they are super high in materials and titanium and other things. Sometimes knives are with us because they're just nuts. And that's this. I wish you guys could see my face right now. I've been grinning like an idiot the whole time I've had these out because I do that every time I hold these. Somewhere there is a 12-year-old version of me that is so happy about these he can't even hardly talk. Because why wouldn't he be? These are my favorite monster absurd knives. I don't carry them because, well, I'm not gonna, but I do toss this one in my backpack when I go hiking and backpacking and even camping, because you're never going to know when having that much blade and that much steel at your disposal is going to pay off. It is at a 90 degree. You can use this to strike a firestone, a ferro rod. It is just a very useful knife, which is weird because it is enormous. I recently did a review on another version of this. This is the Harns Assassin. Quite frankly, they call this the Assassin, but let's face it, that's the assassin's tool. Well, I guess that's about it. I mean it. These are not that expensive. They are fun and ridiculous. And so if you are looking for almost a gag gift for yourself that turns out to be surprisingly useful as a knife collector and user, the Voyager series from Cold Steel, you just cannot go wrong. I love these. I really do. I love them because of how ridiculous they are. Anyway, that was really it. I just wanted to share this giant chunk of absurdity with you, this kind of ridiculous knife thing I've got going. I have a couple of other really big Cold Steels that I will share with you down the road. I've got the Colossus and the Spartan, which is also a very interesting set of knives. Keep an eye out for that. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you here on a regular basis. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.